He was a quiet man, unassuming, he blended in. He lived in apartment 213, Jeffrey Dahmer. The name sends chills down your spine. He was one of America's most notorious serial killers. 17 young men met their end at his hands. Their stories forever intertwined with his own. This is his story. May 21, 1960, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Jeffrey Lionel Dahmer was born. A seemingly normal childhood. But something was amiss. A fascination with death. A morbid curiosity. Animals became his victims. Their lifeless forms dissected. A harbinger of things to come.
His parents' relationship was tumultuous. Constant arguments. A young Jeffrey caught in the middle. He retreated further into himself. His fascination with the dead. A macabre escape.
High school was a blur, an outcast, a loner. Alcohol became his solace. His dark fantasies intensified. He dreamt of control, of possession. His victims, mere objects in his twisted games.
He would later confess to stalking a jogger. The urge to strike, overwhelming. But he stopped himself. For now. The monster inside, however, was growing stronger.
1978, Dahmer graduated high school. His parents divorced. He was alone. One fateful night, he picked up a hitchhiker. Stephen Hicks, 18 years old, full of life. Dahmer lured him back to his house, plied him with alcohol.
An argument, a struggle, then silence. Hicks was gone. Dahmer had crossed the line. He dismembered the body, scattered the remains, his first kill, but it wouldn't be his last.
For years, the murders continued. 16 more victims, each one lured to his apartment, drugged, photographed, then the unthinkable.
Dahmer's desires went beyond killing. He craved more. He wanted to possess them, to keep them forever.
He experimented, crude lobotomies, attempts to create sex zombies, his victims nothing more than subjects in his twisted experiments, his apartment, a house of horrors, the smell of death, a constant reminder of his crimes. July 22, 1991, Tracy Edwards, 32, escaped Dahmer's clutches. He ran into the street, handcuffed. He flagged down police.
They went back to apartment 213. What they found would shock the world. A freezer full of human remains, photographs of dismembered bodies, skulls on the shelf, the stench of death overwhelming.
Dahmer was arrested. He confessed to everything, his chilling words, a window into the mind of a monster. During his trial, Dahmer remained emotionless. His face was a mask, betraying no hint of the horrors he had committed. The courtroom was filled with an eerie silence, as if everyone was holding their breath, waiting for a sign of humanity from him. He described his crimes in detail. Each word he spoke painted a gruesome picture, leaving the audience in a state of shock. His voice was calm, almost clinical, as he recounted the unimaginable acts he had carried out. His words devoid of remorse. There was no hint of regret or sorrow in his tone. It was as if he was discussing mundane details of everyday life, rather than the brutal murders he had committed.
It was an urge, he said, a compulsion that he couldn't control. He spoke of it as if it were a force of nature, something beyond his ability to resist, a craving that just got stronger. He spoke of cannibalism. The desire to consume his victims was not just a fleeting thought, but a persistent hunger that grew with each passing day. Of his desire to consume his victims. He described it in chilling detail, the way one might describe a favorite meal. The courtroom was gripped by a collective horror as he spoke.
"I was branching out," he admitted. His voice was steady, almost casual, as he confessed to the escalation of his crimes. The audience could hardly believe what they were hearing. "I was inevitably going to eat somebody." The words hung in the air, heavy with the weight of their meaning. It was a stark admission of his darkest desires. His words sent chills down the spines of everyone in the courtroom. He showed no remorse, no guilt. The reactions of those present ranged from disbelief to sheer terror. Just a cold, detached fascination with his own depravity. It was as if he was an observer of his own actions, rather than the perpetrator. The lack of emotion in his voice was perhaps the most disturbing aspect of all. Milwaukee was in shock, their city terrorized by a monster hiding in plain sight.
The families of the victims, devastated. Their loved ones reduced to objects of Dahmer's perverse desires.
The trial captivated the nation. Dahmer's insanity plea was rejected. He was found guilty on 15 counts of murder. sentenced to 15 consecutive life terms, over 900 years in prison.
Justice, it seemed, had been served, but the scars of his crimes ran deep. Dahmer was incarcerated at the Columbia Correctional Institution in Portage, Wisconsin. He seemed resigned to his fate.
He spoke of finding God, of repenting for his sins, but for many his words rang hollow.
He was attacked twice by fellow inmates, the first time he survived. The second, on November 28, 1994, proved fatal. He was beaten to death with a metal bar.
Some said it was justice, others a tragic end to a horrific chapter.
The world breathed a sigh of relief. The news of Jeffrey Dahmer's capture and subsequent death brought a sense of closure to many. Families of the victims, the community, and even those who had followed the case from afar felt a collective exhale. It was as if a dark cloud had finally lifted, allowing the sun to shine through once more. Jeffrey Dahmer, the Milwaukee monster, was gone. But the questions lingered. How could this happen? How could a man commit such heinous acts without detection for so long? The community was left grappling with these questions, seeking answers in the aftermath of his capture. The media coverage was relentless, with every detail of his life and crimes being scrutinized. Could it have been prevented? Experts weighed in, offering insights into the mind of a serial killer. Psychologists and criminologists debated the signs that were missed, the red flags that went unnoticed. Law enforcement faced criticism for their handling of the case, prompting a reevaluation of procedures and protocols. The hope was that by understanding the failures of the past, future tragedies could be averted.
The scars of his crimes remain. His apartment building, demolished. The place where so many lost their lives was reduced to rubble, a symbolic act of erasing the horrors that occurred within its walls. Yet for the families of the victims, the pain and loss could never be so easily erased. The memories of their loved ones and the brutal way they were taken would forever haunt them. A vacant lot now stands in its place. The empty space serves as a stark reminder of the lives that were cut short. It is a place of reflection where people come to remember and mourn. The community has not forgotten, and the lot stands as a testament to the resilience of those who survived and the memory of those who did not, a chilling reminder of the darkness that once resided there. The lot, now overgrown with weeds and littered with debris, is a physical manifestation of the evil that once lurked in the heart of the city. It is a place that many avoid, a place that holds too many painful memories. Yet it is also a place that serves as a warning, a reminder of the fragility of safety and the ever-present potential for darkness.
Jeffrey Dahmer's story is a stark reminder of the evil that can lurk beneath the surface. It is a tale that has been told and retold, each time with the hope that it will serve as a cautionary tale. It is a reminder that vigilance is necessary, that we must always be aware of the potential for darkness in our midst. His story is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the enduring hope that justice in some form will always prevail. A reminder that monsters can wear many faces. They can be the person next door, the friendly face in the crowd, or the quiet individual who goes unnoticed. It is a reminder to stay vigilant, to trust our instincts, and to never take safety for granted. The story of Jeffrey Dahmer is a chilling example of the depths of human depravity, but it is also a story of the strength and resilience of those who survived and those who continue to seek justice. Jeffrey Dahmer's life was a terrifying journey into the abyss of human depravity. Born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Dahmer's early years were marked by a fascination with death and dissection. This morbid curiosity would later manifest in the most horrifying ways imaginable. His death, a brutal end to a reign of terror. Dahmer was murdered by a fellow inmate in 1994, bringing a violent conclusion to a life that had inflicted so much pain and suffering. His demise was as gruesome as the acts he committed, a fitting end to a life steeped in darkness. His crimes shocked the world. From 1978 to 1991, Dahmer preyed on young men, luring them to his apartment where he would drug, strangle, and dismember them. The details of his acts were so grotesque that they left an indelible mark on the collective consciousness. His name forever etched in the annals of criminal history. The trial of Jeffrey Dahmer was a media spectacle, drawing attention from around the globe. His calm demeanor in court, juxtaposed with the horrific nature of his crimes, left many bewildered and horrified. But amidst the horror, we remember the victims, their lives cut short. Each victim had a story, a family, and dreams that were brutally ended. They were sons, brothers, and friends, each with a future that was stolen from them, their stories forever intertwined with the monster who took them. The pain and suffering of the families left behind is immeasurable. They are the true victims, forced to live with the haunting memories of their lost loved ones. May their memories serve as a reminder of the fragility of life. In remembering them, we honor their lives and the potential that was so cruelly taken away. Their stories are a stark reminder of the evil that can lurk in the shadows, and the darkness that can reside in the human heart. Jeffrey Dahmer's story is a chilling testament to the depths of human depravity. It serves as a cautionary tale, reminding us to remain vigilant and to cherish the light in our lives, for it can be extinguished all too easily.